Hey, what's good, everybody? Comment, like, subscribe, share the video. So the TV show Bel-Air just recently came to an end. Unfortunately, it's the final season, so there's not going to be any more. I'm a huge fan. I've been watching it since the beginning. And at least we got an ending. You know, it's better than being left on a cliffhanger like a lot of other shows unfortunately get. But spoilers ahead if you haven't seen the final season. You know, this is your warning. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So I'm just gonna cover the things that really bothered me and at least for the final season, and one of which was the situation with Jazz and Vivian's friend, the councilwoman that was helping him get his weed shop going. I did not like that they even had a relationship. Because, I mean, I understand that maybe it was supposed to be panned out. Like, if it was panned out, I understand, I guess, for drama, just to cause more issues between Hillary and Jazz. But it was, since this was the final season, it had no place in it. Because he ended up hooking up with this woman that was already married. And that's just another issue that Hillary is going to have. Because Hillary's getting over her, her husband passing away, and then on top of that, now the guy that she, has feelings for is sleeping with somebody that she grew up with. So it was just a whole messy thing, and they didn't even address it on the show. They ended up Hillary was gonna go back to Costa Rica because she went to Costa Rica to try to get over her husband's passing, and because of her new sister being born, spoilers, like I said. Baby Nikki is a girl in this show instead of a boy like in the original show. So instead of going back to Costa Rica, she wanted to spend time with her family, so she ended up staying. And and it seems like at the end of the show that Jazz and her might make something happen, which we would hope that that's how it ends. But that's it was more open-ended, but but it's kind of implied that they'll probably get together. But yeah, that's one of the things that bothered me badly about this season. They had some of those things that were unnecessary. Another thing that was unnecessary was Carlton. Going to Princeton. He obviously had the credentials to get into Princeton, but Princeton wanted a good backstory, like a reason as to why to stand out above the other candidates. And it was because of that he decided to take his ex-girlfriend's story of ODing and almost drowning. He said that happened to him, and he and because of that he stood out enough in Princeton's eyes to get in. And then after all that, he was willing to go that far to get into Princeton. Then he decides, I don't want to go to Princeton, because it was just going to be like a whole ordeal, which I understood where he was coming from, and and it was a good mindset to have. But why the hell go through all that and cause problems between you and your ex just to not even go to Princeton? That part didn't make any damn sense to me. It was like a dumb thing to do. Like I said, if the show was gonna pan out, I guess it made sense to cause more issues between the girlfriend and him, the ex and him, because they ended up getting back together, but then they kind of split at the end again. So it was just a whole ordeal. But it just didn't make any sense. If he was not going to go to Princeton anyways, they shouldn't have even caused that drama for no reason. Yeah, because he felt that he didn't want to deal with a whole 4 years again of how he felt in Bel-Air, because in Bel-Air he felt out of place, gave him anxiety and the whole drug addiction. So he didn't want to have to be in Princeton feeling the same way, feeling very out of place, being like one of the only black people there. So he ended up going to Morehouse. But it's just, to me, it was ridiculous that they even did that concept. Another thing I wasn't the biggest fan was the leader of the gang that was going after Jeffrey. Dom, she just seems so out of place to me. She's like so non-threatening, but I guess that's supposed to be like what makes her a threat, is that she's seems so nonchalant. But to me, it was just like one of those typical, hey, we're gonna put a woman in a powerful seat just to make her seem like a big threat, but in actuality she wasn't really a threat. I don't know, that's just she didn't come across that way to me. Like maybe if her acting would have been a little bit more like, you know, menacing, did a couple of more, you know, savage things. I don't know, maybe it's because of the timing. Like I said, this was the final season, they rushed it, so maybe it's because of that. But it just she didn't seem like the threat that she should have been for why Jeffrey was running away and all this and that. It's I mean, I would assume that, I guess, if the show did pan out the way that they probably would have wanted it to, at some point I think Jeffrey probably would have left Phil and the family and would have joined up back with the gang, you know, just for more drama to happen. And then later in this, you know, probably the next season or something, he comes back to the family like, oh, apologies and all this and that. But yeah, it just didn't really pan out that way. You know, he ended up working with Phil, got all the evidence they needed with the FBI, and ended up getting her taken out. The whole gang got taken out, and Jeffrey's free now, so he could be with his family. So he got his happy ending. You know, everybody got pretty much a happy ending. The other thing that I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I guess is better in this show compared to the original show, and that was Will. Will's potential never gets fulfilled. Like in the original show, he never reaches that goal. He was in college, but he didn't really know what he was doing. At least in this show, he wanted to be a businessman, and he was really focused on that, even more than basketball and all that. So at least we know that he wants to be a bit have a successful business, you know, be one of the highest top earning CEOs out there. But they didn't like fully go into all the details. But at least, like I said, we have that concept compared to the original show where he had zero concept of anything he was gonna do. But what I did like though is that Will Smith made a cameo, and is like, you know, he was talking to himself from the future. So I guess he becomes that successful Will Smith and everything. But it's just like, I wish that they would have been able to keep the show going so that we could see Will get to those levels instead of just always being left at, you know, potential unfulfilled. You know, that's just my opinion. But at least we got that little cameo with Will, so it's kind of a closure thing. And then the last thing that I wasn't like crazy about was Ashley. Like always, it was just super dramatic. Just they always got to do some LGBTQ plus situation. That's what Ashley was on the show. And the thing that didn't make any sense is that she was dating a dude, but she identified as being like bi or gay or something. And then the dude was the same way, where he was, you know, technically straight because he was dating Ashley, but he identified as they, them. It just didn't make no damn sense, but it is what it is. Like I said, the show was great though overall, and you know, it's unfortunate it's over. But let me know in the comments what you guys think.